Hey everyone, we just wanted to let you know that today's episode contains references to suicide and sexual violence. So please take care while listening.
When a single woman is glamorous, she's earning money, she's not asking anybody for support. She's buying her own diamond, her own house, maybe she has adopted children or she takes care of her family. See, that is a slap in the face of Sanskari and also regressive India. It's a slap. Because actually, the single woman's movement is such an important fabric of modern day feminism because we are taking on patriarchy.
When are you settling down? Do you want to be alone forever? Do you only care about your career? Those are just some of the questions single women in India are asked incessantly.
Love matters. Love matters. Love matters. Love matters with Evelyn Sharma.
Hey guys, it's Evelyn Sharma here. This episode of Love Matters is all about defying conventions and shaking off the negative labels attached to being single. Single women face a lot of stigma, but they are a rapidly growing group in the country, and people like Sreemoyee Piu Kundu, who you heard at the top of the show, is among them. The journalist and best-selling author is busting taboos and stereotypes about women's singledom. Welcome to the show, Shree. It's so great to have you as my guest today.
Thank you, Evelyn. It's an absolute pleasure to also represent 74.1 million single sisters of India. So, hallelujah to us.
Awesome. Well, I love that you have your statistics ready at hand. That will come in handy for our quiz, I hope. And of course, we will be hearing from one of our listeners who is content being single and in a relationship with herself, as she says, but is dealing with pressure from friends and family to couple up.
That's very, very common.
Right. So, Shri, you run the online community for unmarried women called Status Single and interviewed 3,000 single ladies, including divorcees and widows, for your book, Status Single: The Truth About Being a Single Woman in India. Tell me, why this title, Status Single?
Evelyn, I was a single woman, and it was
Mm.
2018, the year I was turning 40.
Mm-hmm.
And I had taken a decision that if I don't meet the man of my dreams, or
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Right Now, as I call it,
Mm-hmm.
by then I would celebrate my 40th birthday just like I had envisaged my wedding. In a woman's life in India, it's almost like, the two biggest milestones are marriage and then the birth of a child, you know.
Yeah.
So there's nothing else. Now, this everything, created a big stir. I'm big on social media. My books, by then, I had already written about 4 books. So, when I started writing about this, I had like loads of single women from all over India write to me that, wow, you're not ashamed to be single. You're proudly self partnered.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, of course, I mean, of course, I've had ill luck in relationships. I've battled physical abuse. I've been through a broken engagement, but I'm not bitter. I'm not a cynical, dried up old spinster with cats. I'm a glamorous, successful, happy.
Nothing wrong with a good cat.
Of course, yeah, but the image. I mean, spinster is like the bin biyahi bua in Hindi films. She's the
Mm.
evil, or she's the promiscuous seductress. Who's
Yeah.
smoking, drinking, the vamp. You
Yeah.
know, so I wanted to really bust those stereotypes, and I was already actually writing a very popular column called "Below the Belt" for a leading Indian magazine where I would always document my experiences of being single, not finding a house to rent, being shamed by a female gynecologist. And I was raised by a widow. My mother was a very young widow. I lost my father to schizophrenia. And my mom had to endure a lot of social ostracism, a lot of like taboos, as you use the word. So my agent actually got in touch and he said, Shri, why don't you take all these experiences and make it into a book? So that's what I did, Evelyn.
these are all part of the stigmas and the things that make people feel so uncomfortable talking about being happily singles. Just like our listener who has called in. Today, we will play a couple of snippets from our conversation. She actually wanted to stay anonymous because she felt like, a lot of times she's being judged for actually loving to be single. She's single by choice and mostly feels comfortable with her decision, but has a couple of questions. So let's listen to the first one.
Hi, Evelyn. I have been single for quite a long time. I've been in and out of relationships, which haven't really worked. Most of them have been either toxic or abusive. Being single comes as a very conscious choice, which supports me in my well being. So, for me, the most important question always remained that is it normal that I have never been in love? Is it okay? I mean, is it acceptable? Because the people around me have made it feel like it's not, like having a partner is an extremely important aspect of your life, which confuses me a lot because I haven't experienced love the way that they have.
So, do you hear that a lot in your community that women would just like to be alone, and they feel a lot of pressure from maybe family, friends, society around them, saying that but having a partner is so important for
Yeah,
your
of
life.
course. Even in my I won't say immediate family, but definitely people who know me, and also people who don't know me. In India, we love giving unsolicited advice and poking our nose in somebody else's business, right?
Absolutely. How do you battle that? I think that's the most important aspect here.
Yeah, so you go to a wedding, and for the longest time, I remember when I was in my 30s, I would hate coming to weddings in Calcutta because the first thing is, they'll tell my mother as if, after birthing me, it's her moral responsibility to settle me down. Firstly, even
Yeah.
that statement is sexist.
I think, yeah, all of us have experienced that.
So, she would get asked this question that, oh, you are you and your husband, like you've remarried a man who's younger, which went against society. Now, your daughter is unmarried. She's in her 30s. And I also suffer from, this condition called PCOD and endometriosis. So I've known that I'm infertile since I was 19 years old. And I've begun to menopause, so I'm 43 now. So they would like constantly scare my mother. Oh, after you die, after your husband dies, then what will happen to her?
Yeah. So dramatic in a way, you know. Why can't a woman take care of herself? It's lovely to have, somebody around. It's love like I love having my husband around, but then I also love having my best friend around. I love having my family around. So I'm sure like there's different kinds of support systems that you can build around yourself. What would you, from your journey, and your experiences, what would you tell our listener, our who has called in, about like how does she tackle this? That people, constantly ask her, like, why aren't you with someone?
There's no, like, so there's this pressure, like I felt it even now at 43. Like, a friend, I just got myself a new pair of glasses, and the first thing a friend of mine said, oh, these glasses make you look younger. Now this is your lucky year, you're going to get lucky with a guy. So everything, if I lose weight, I have to get a guy. So I think this is the thing, that there's a lot of pressure. And how do you tell people to fob off? By leading your life, by being, like I always tell women in my community, that don't be ashamed of your past. Not everybody is lucky in love. And also, Evelyn, while I've seen a very happy marriage, my mom has met really a champion. I call my stepfather a real, he's a prince amongst men. I mean, sometimes you don't have to brainwash girls into believing that you're marrying somebody for 7 births and till death do us part. That's all rubbish. Marriage is a relationship like any other. So just like, two people evolve, may or may not choose to bring children into the world, may or may not grow at the same pace, you just have to accept it.
Yeah. If you think that you're getting love with marriage, then you're wrong because you're getting in laws with marriage. That's all you're getting. You're marrying a lot of things. So I always say it's definitely not for everyone. And I can totally understand our listener that she is, she's confused because she hasn't experienced love in the way that maybe her friends have. Because, I mean, love is a very personal journey. And I'd love to know, Shri, how have you experienced love so far in your personal life? Like, I mean, you've seen love in your parents and in your friends, but how have you experienced love so far, and like how would you like to experience love in the ideal case? What is, romantic love in your life?
So for me, Evelyn, firstly, I want to dispel this notion of romantic love, because I think, there are many other formulas of love in your life, beginning with self love. And also, there are many other formulas of companionship which doesn't have to do with a husband or a child. I have a wonderful community which gives me a lot of companionship. This October, over 100 single women from Status Single, our online Facebook community, met in 6 cities of Delhi, Bangalore, Kolkata, Mumbai, Chennai, and Pune. This is also one form of love and sisterhood. I have love towards my work. I'm a writer, I'm a poet, I'm a columnist. I love to write. I'm writing my memoirs as we speak. Uh, and I think, the love that I received from my grandfather, the love that I received from my stepdad, I still am fortunate. He is in my life. The love that I received from, the four lovers that I had.
There's a lot of ways that you can experience love,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think there's so many misconceptions about single women, and especially our
Mm.
listener is struggling with them. So let's listen to her second soundbite.
My identity as a single woman and how I should be as a single woman is assumed. For instance, when I'm dating, when they come to know the facts that I'm single, it is automatically assumed that I'm easily available. Or when they come to know that I'm not interested, I'm labeled as probably having other sexual preferences. When I'm looking for apartments, I'm always asked about my marital status. And when I say that, I'm unmarried and single and independent and working, it becomes extremely difficult to find an apartment. And then I am asked questions as to, why are you single? Why don't you have a partner? Why don't you have a boyfriend? Are you divorced?
I think that's like really usual questions almost, because I have faced all of them in Mumbai as well, and pressures that I mean, because she's single. Um, Shri, do you think the same pressure and prejudices are put on men as well to find a partner and to not be single?
I would say, see, definitely women, I think, have the tougher end of the stick. But having said that, single men also, like I know in the housing society where I lived in Mumbai, you would have gone through this. My broker used to always tell me I wear a lot of rings. So he would always tell me, Madam, that diamond ring you wear on your left ring finger. So I said, why? Why not the silver ring? No, no, no. Because otherwise, you'll be labeled as a bachelor girl in Mumbai. Nobody will give you an apartment.
I know, I've faced that too in Mumbai. Apparently, it seems like single women want to have parties and sex all the time. But to be honest, we have those same I think these same stigmas count for a bachelor man, because like do bachelor men get houses that easily?
They don't get a house that easily, but the character assassination does not happen. I know because my friend was a bachelor. He would always take me along with his girlfriend, and he would tell the landlord, these are my sisters. And the landlord would never bat an eyelid. But when the girlfriend used to take him and say the same thing to her landlady, that he is my brother, the landlady would say, तुमने मुझे उल्लू समझ रखा है क्या? Every boy is your brother or your uncle. Rubbish. And there's a lot of single shaming also. Like your listener was telling.
Why do you think people are so suspicious of women?
See, Evelyn, in our country, see, we are a nation of hypocrites. Let me put this on record.
Hmm.
We love to pay money and go to these plush multiplexes and watch top heroines, dance to absolutely sleazy double meaning item numbers. We watch ads which have such, derogatory comments made about women. But when a single woman is glamorous, she's earning money, she's not asking anybody for support, she's buying her own diamond, her own house, maybe she has adopted
Hmm.
children or she takes care of her family. See, that is a
Hmm.
slap in the face of sanskari and also regressive India. It's a slap because actually the single women's movement is such an important fabric of modern day feminism because we are taking on patriarchy.
Well, I think our listener has been on her own journey, and she feels empowered in her own choice of being single, and feels that she's got agency over her life and choices. And I mean, she can't escape the idea that having a partner is sort of what is still being held up as the ideal. Do you have a few words for her on that?
So, what happens is most girls, they are pressurized to have a boyfriend
Hmm.
because the girlfriends who tell them to have a boyfriend paint this very rosy picture. Oh, see, look at the songs, na Bollywood songs, Meri shopping kara de. So, having a boyfriend is seen as,
Hmm.
somebody who's going to, give you nice clothes. He's going to take you for holidays. But nobody talks about the darker side of relationships. Like I am very open and I discuss how I fell in love with a man who was a stalker, how at 19 I missed so many red flags. I never went for counseling, so I remained unhealed, suffering from PTSD, which is why I literally on a rebound, jumped into another emotionally abusive and detrimental relationship. See, we don't like, I am always talking to my community members and my sister who's only 12 about it, but in India, we never talk about it. So, what happens is getting a boyfriend or finding a husband or a man, marrying you and validating your existence is seen as the ultimate legitimation or legitimization of your womanhood.
Well, Shri, I hope that what you're doing, the work you're doing with your community and our podcast, Love Matters, will shine a light on all these things. And I'm so glad that I have you here today to talk about all these things.
Love matters.
Oh, that's the sound of our quiz, our surprise quiz. In each episode, our producers prepare a little surprise quiz for us to test our knowledge on the topic. And I think you've got all your statistics ready, so it's going to be perfect.
I so hope
And
so.
what they will do is they will send me a text message with the questions. And then we will together find the answer. And of course, our listeners can guess along with us. And if we are right, then the sound is going to be this one. And if our answer is wrong, then the sound is going to be that one. So let me see if I have got the text message yet. It's a quiz for all the single ladies out there, a mix of multiple choice and true or false questions. Are you ready, Shri?
Absolutely.
Question number one. The last census in India showed that there has been a rise in the number of single women. What was the percentage increase? A, 20%, B, 40%, or C, 60%? What do you think?
I think 39% is what I know, so I would say 40%.
All right, I will trust that. And we will go with B, 40%. Wow, that is actually a huge increase.
Yes.
The answer is B, around 40%. According to the last census, there was an increase in the number of single women from 51.2 million in 2001 to 71.4 million in 2011. The number could be even more now. Righty. Question number two. True or false? India has never elected a single woman to a political position.
That's false.
False. Correct. Well, the answer is false. India had had several single women as politicians.
Our Chief Minister of Bengal is a single woman, Mamta Banerjee. Jayalalitha was a single woman. Sonia Gandhi is a widow. Lots of single women.
That's right. Okay. Next question. Which of the following three things are unmarried women in India legally not allowed to do? A. Own as many houses as a married woman. B. Own as much gold as married women. Or C. Adopt a child. I'd say probably adopt a child.
No, no, a lot of single women are adopting children now. Shushmita Sen started the trend in Bollywood. I would think houses. And gold also. I mean, being a single woman, I can buy myself as much gold as I want.
Yeah, how would they know?
Yeah, how would they know? I think houses. Let's go with houses, Evelyn.
Okay, let's go with houses. A. Houses. Oh, no.
No?
The
Okay.
correct answer is B. Possess as much gold as a married woman. A 30-year-old law stipulates that married women are entitled to own 500 gram of gold and unmarried women only 250 gram.
Oh, I didn't know this. Wow.
Actually, it's not that old, that law.
Hmm.
It's only 30-year-old. Well, I don't think that our listener is too worried about gold. She is bothered by the assumption that she is lonely, just because she's not in a romantic relationship. And she has lots of friends and is a very social person. So let's hear the last snippet of our conversation.
My mother was, and still is, extremely worried that this one is not going to find anyone. She's just going to end up alone. There's so much fear attached to, being alone. And I just wonder, is there no imagination of the word relationship unless there's another person involved? Like, whatever happened to having a relationship with yourself? Isn't that also the most important relationship?
I think, I have to say, I understand our mothers and, our parents and grandparents that are so worried about us finding someone. I feel like they're just from a different era and a different generation. And for them, it was important to find someone. But like you said, there's so many problems that also come with relationship. What do you think? What would you say to our listener?
I think, of course, parents get worried because, socially also there's a lot of stigma, there's a lot of marginalization. I mean, imagine a single woman technically can't own as much gold as a married woman. I will say women are lonely even in their marriages, because if you see the rate of suicide, the highest rate of suicide more than farmers and students is by housewives. Every second day, there are women who are dying. I mean, recently in Kerala, three women killed themselves because of dowry harassment. So, marital rape in our country is not a criminal offense.
That's
So I
shocking.
would say that, at the end of the day, definitely see, it's not easy being single. It's not easy being in a marriage also. We are a very ancient, conservative, religion backed, very, very patriarchal society, which is on the cusp of a revolution thanks to educational and financial empowerment of women.
It is just not as easy to be a working woman and be a homemaker and be a mother, and so why not leave choice to the woman whether she would like to take care of herself and maybe have a boyfriend or have a husband. It's in the end it's up to you.
It's up to you. I also want to smash another stereotype about single women because this is something that I hear all the time. So, what do you do for sex? That do you think single women don't have sex? I think they have more sex than married women. In fact, when I talk to my married friends, they tell me, "Oh, it's been 3 months. Oh, I'm so busy with the baby," or he has changed his job. He's so stressed out. When I interviewed women for status single, many women told me that we are not interested in we don't want to get married. We just want to have casual sex and hookups. There are younger single women in my community, right? They are saying that we carry condoms with us because most Indian men don't like to use protection. They are so selfish.
But how do you think that, how can we create more space for different ways of living, especially for women, who are single, either by choice or circumstance?
Yes. So it's not one thing, Evelyn. It starts from the family, the sensitization of the family towards single women. A woman seeing, girls growing up seeing strong, empowered, working mothers, who don't take shit even from the father or the granny or the grandpa,
True. Women living by example, I guess. Yeah. Shri, I loved having you on the podcast. Do you have any final words for our listeners? How to embrace singledom?
I think be proud that you are educated. Educate your family, sensitize your family. Maybe your mother has a hidden story of pain and exploitation and suffering that she never found a safe space to share. Also, every single woman empower another single woman. Like I say today, the from me to a movement, this is my slogan. Today if you are single, today if you are single, help another single woman. Maybe your friend in a marriage is going through a terrible time. Bring her to a counselor. You are an empowered single woman, even if your marriage has broken up or you have had a very unlucky career in finding romantic love. Move beyond that to embrace the power and the dignity and the freedom of your one God given beautiful human life. There's love all around us, love in nature, love in children, love in books, love in taking care of your body and mind. There is love, out there to build communities. Share that love, spread that love, but also feel, experience, and own that love. Only then can you be truly empowered.
Thank you so much, Sri. We have got so much out of this, and I think I feel really, really inspired right now just listening to you talk. And I think, as we kind of like discovered, is that there's not just one thing that needs to be done to break the stigma and misconceptions of singledom for women. And I hope that everybody will join your community and feel more empowered by seeing that there are lots of people out there who are embracing a single life and, yeah, feel just inspired by what you do.
Thank you. Thank you, Evelyn. It was lovely. Thank you for giving me this platform to share my journey.
Thank you so much to our listener for getting in touch and sharing your journey with us. And guys, if you have a question in matters of love, don't hesitate and write us to lovematters@dw.com. Maybe your question will be featured on a future episode. We'd love to hear from you. Are you single and loving it? If your friends are asking you when you're going to settle down, send them this episode of Love Matters. And tune in again for next week's show. We'll be talking body positivity and self love with yoga instructor and influencer Natasha Noel. Hansika, a listener in Bangalore, has a message for everyone. Stop body shaming. Love Matters is a collaboration between Indian Express and DW, Germany's international broadcaster. If you like the show, please like, subscribe, and rate us. This is Evelyn Sharma, and I think love matters.
Love matters.